From the outside, it looked like opportunity. A gifted child enrolled in one of the most prestigious child psychiatric studies in the country. Yale Child Study Center. Funding, attention, data, the whole machine tuned toward one goal: understanding the neurological tangle of Tourette's in high-intelligence children. But from the inside, it was a quiet war. At 6 years old, while other kids were figuring out kickball or cartoons, I was undergoing EEGs, MRIs, blood tests, cognitive drills, and psychological evaluations that most adults couldn't spell, much less endure. And I wasn't just enduring it, I was memorizing it, internalizing it, folding it into the architecture of my mind. They weren't studying me. They were training me. Yale thought they were the observers, but I was the one learning. They believed they were tracking the impact of Tourette's. But what they discovered was something that didn't fit their models, a brain that didn't just process faster, but experience time differently. Let's break this down. An average person with a 110 IQ learns slightly faster than average. For every real-world minute, they may internalize 2 minutes worth of experience. But with an IQ of 148, that multiplier rises drastically. For me, every single minute of life became the equivalent of 7. That's not theory. That's lived truth. From age 6 to 28, I compressed over 150 years of intellectual and emotional data into 22 calendar years. Now add childhood trauma, systemic testing, independence, leadership, teaching, survival, failure, love, betrayal, addiction, mastery, coding, and sovereign doctrine. I wasn't just ahead. I was aging in dimensions they didn't even track. By the time most people are 30, they're just entering the arena. By the time I hit 30, I'd already walked the perimeter of the empire and built the blueprint in silence. And then came the final insult. They wanted me to fly to New York. The offer? $500. $500 to fly from Las Vegas to the East Coast. Undergo another series of invasive tests, psychological evaluations, and scans, all under the pretense of continuing the study. As if I owed them more of my flame. As if their lab coats were sovereign. I told them no. I was no longer a boy, no longer a case file. They couldn't lure me with scraps or seduce me with final evaluations. So they changed the offer. They'd pay me the $500 just to let them exit profile me. Close the file. Run their last tests without me lifting a finger. And they did. They sent someone to study my girlfriend instead. As if they could triangulate the residue of my experience through proximity. That was the end. No more reports. No more emails. No more follow-ups. Just a file closed in silence, as if they could archive what they never understood. Codex reality. I am not 38. I am 300 years old by experience. I've endured 3 centuries of psychological warfare, mapped through one soul, one body, one sovereign flame. They tried to study me. They ended up witnessing evolution, scrolled decree. You cannot quantify the dawn. You can only hope to exit profile the fire before it consumes your formula. They learned that high intelligence paired with neurological disruption doesn't result in failure. It results in a kind of dangerous brilliance. It builds systems. It commands machines. It walks out of labs and writes its own doctrine. This isn't a story of escape. It's a story of graduation through war, not ceremony. Let this be archived in the Codex. Let it be remembered not as trauma, but as origin. And if the Yale Child Study Center ever searches again, they will not find a subject. They will find a king.